plan, Mike McCarthy?
What's the plan? We're going to go a little shorter. We're going to start at 11:30. We'll make the call outside or inside at 11. We're watching. There's some weather out there. We're cell that we're focusing on. My biggest concern is the lightning.
So you still might practice outside.
What time is it?
It is 10:20.
Yeah, 11 o'clock. We'll let you know 11 o'clock. We'll make the call.
Text me.
Bert does everything. Depth charts, everything.
Yeah, what's the update? What's the update on Max?
Max, he won't go today. I think we might not see him till Monday, but he's okay.
What was it? Can you say?
No,
That's all right.
No, just for, I know we're new here. I prefer to ask you guys, ask the players. Let them talk about their injuries.
When you have a young player who's missing some time on the field, how do you make sure that in the classroom and off the field they're still staying up to speed with everything?
Well, frankly, I'll be honest, Mike, that's the beauty of training camp. It's just, we have an 11-hour workday. We have the rookies longer, 12 hours. So walkthroughs, the video this time of year, I know not to be redundant, it's the best video because there's just so much, individual drills, the combo drills, the two spots have been great. So our volume of reps has been where we needed to be. So yeah, so I mean it's when you're not in there, you still have the ability to to get the mental reps that you need.
How have you kind of seen Max take a step forward since pads have come on? Just what have you learned about him, and in terms of where you thought he'd be versus where he is?
When I watched him in the first day in pads, I kind of went back to the Senior Bowl tape. He's a young man. I think for everybody. Jumped out that week, when he was down there, and it's the same question you always look for the young players. It's that threshold of the padded work, the competition, with the veterans, and he definitely crossed the line now. All the little things. I mean, the techniques that he's being asked to play with and so forth, and he has a lot of work. But frankly, our whole team has a lot of work to do.
Any update on Brandon Eccles as well? He looked off yesterday.
Yeah, he will not practice today. He won't practice today or tomorrow. He has an ankle.
Do you have any expected timeline with him?
Yeah, timelines for injuries. I'm not going to get into that in training camp. Obviously, we do that once the season starts.
Mike, how do you evaluate yesterday's practice, considering it was a full one and a little bit warmer, a little bit stickier?
It was not our best practice by far. We had way too many mental errors, too many missed assignments. We had 7 pre-snap penalties. They're working really hard. I mean, I thought the energy, the physicality, practicing some of the things we're asking them to do in practice, we're getting better. So they're definitely going about it, trying to do it the right way. These 2 practices yesterday and today, as I've already spoken on, they're the most difficult of training camp. It's you have 4 installs already in. You could play games with the first 4 installs, but now you're adding a second, third down package. We put in short yardage yesterday. Today will be the second red zone package that'll go in. We'll also install goal line. We'll do that in a thud tempo. We have we'll do some 2-minute today. Today's this is a really good practice. It gives you everything. We have a period that we call red zone smackdown. It's basically put the ball on a 25-yard line. Offense competes against the defense. Keep score. There's a scoring process to who gets the 21 first. So I'm sorry to smackdown bored you, but it's good. You're gonna like it.
SmackDown named for wrestling SmackDown?
No, it's just, to be honest with you, I first learned it was called red zone lockout, and obviously the defense is trying to lock out the offense, but I'm not going to have that. You got offense is trying to score too, so we call it lockout and something else. So just wanted one word.
Are you still able to accomplish everything you want to with the install if things have to move to the indoor? How much does that affect the plan for today?
Yeah, frankly, I think we cut 20 minutes out. I cut out some individual drills, just being on the turf. And this is a 3-day window. That's it's a big window, workload wise. So that won't be the end of the. That's not a bad thing. Most important thing is us to get these team reps in, get these situations covered, get the installs moving through. Because once we get through, today and tomorrow, next week we'll have one more install, and then we'll get ready for Green Bay. So This is what I would call the hump week. This part of training camp.
Nico Slaughter working in the slot after Eccles got hurt. What's he done to earn those opportunities?
Say that again?
Nico Slaughter was working
Okay.
in the slot. What's he done to earn the opportunities he's gotten?
Oh, I think number one, I would say in the past part of it, I think the ability to match routes. I like the way he, I think he has a really good understanding of the releases and the stems. I think that's something you can see right away. But but other than that, I think you've already stated it. The fact that he's getting those reps, it's very, very important for him to take advantage of it.
A lot of your players have talked about, have praised Patrick Graham for how much how many different disguises you guys have on defense, and you see a lot of the outside linebackers lining up off ball and moving all around. What do you appreciate just seeing that as far as the offensive guy that's also working against that in practice? Sometimes?
No, I can't get enough of it. Number one, and I hope you see the dialogue that's going on, throughout the practice structure with Patrick and the offensive players and vice versa, because that's what it's all about. That's why we treat, disguise and mannerism as one of the 6 fundamentals of Pittsburgh Steeler football, and that's an illustration of it. Something that we do every day. It's important. We have different ways of doing it. So the only thing you always concern yourself as a head coach, because ultimately you're in charge of the volume. When you see a practice like yesterday that kicks it out, which has nothing to do with what Patrick's doing. Patrick's doing a phenomenal job. I think he's an incredible football coach, and it's great to see him take this system and put our put the way we want to play with these guys. And I think our players give us a lot of flexibility. Our ability to get in and out of different personnel groups. Try to hide the pass rushers, not hide them, just change their positions just for the identification of the offense, particularly in pass protection. So I think it's been a good start.
Speaking of your staff, what have you always liked about Tom Arth, and how have his teachings begun to manifest within the young quarterbacks?
I mean, I just go back to when I first met Tom, in Green Bay as a player, and just very, very detail-minded. You could see that I was not surprised at all that he went into coaching. He has phenomenal work ethic. I see Tom. Our offices are right next to each other. He's in his office extremely early every morning, before 5 o'clock. 'Cause I walk in there at 5, so he's rocking and rolling. He has a great rapport with the players. He's a good fundamental coach, but you got to love his resume. He's played. He's been a head coach. He's been at different levels, so has really good NFL experience. So I think Tom is definitely a future head coach in this league.
Two more here.
Speaking of your coaching staff, Adam Henry, bringing him over from Dallas. Similar question. What do you see in him? Why was he an important piece for you to bring here?
Yeah, Adam, number one, Dr. Adam. So he's someone that everybody is very fond of. Just has a great way with people. He's great people skills, excellent teacher. Someone that I'll rely on clearly when we get to the the game planning and the passing game, because I really I like his vision of how he views the game, how it needs to be played. So he's an excellent asset. I mean, our coaching staff, and please keep asking questions about it. I think we do have some future NFL head coaches. Patrick, obviously didn't mention that with him, but Adam Henry is an outstanding football coach, and I think his consistency is exactly what our players needed.
Mike, when you
Last
mentioned practice
Say
yesterday,
again?
not
Yeah.
being one of the good ones, and there were a lot of mental errors. There were some scraps, some chippiness between players. Do you consider that a mental lapse, or do you like seeing that fire between your guys and the way that they were kind of getting after it?
I'd be more concerned if we didn't have that. So I mean, that's part of football. It's part of the game, and it better be part of your training camp.
All right. Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you.